Is Canada about to become the 51st state? No, this isn't some deepfake from TikTok. That was a real idea floated by President Donald Trump in an official Oval Office meeting with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. And if you think that's the wildest part of the meeting, oh, buckle up, we're just getting started. Today, we're unpacking this diplomatic faceplant, from Trump's merger fantasy to cowboy-style tariff threats, and how, while thinking he's winning, Trump might actually be slamming his own head into a wall, economically speaking. Picture this: Trump slouched in his chair looking worn out. Across from him, Mark Carney, calm, confident, and fresh off an election win that went directly against Trump's style of politics. Sticking to his usual script, Trump suggests Canada should become part of the United States. He says Canada relies on America, and without the US, it wouldn't survive. Carney responds without blinking. He's polite, but firm. He says, "Some places in the world are not for sale. You're sitting in one of them." Trump doesn't argue. He simply nods and mumbles, "That's true," like someone who just got quietly put in his place on live television. Canada breathed a sigh of relief. And back in the US, social media had a field day.
The chief negotiator, Donald Trump, is showing the world what the art of no deals looks like. Donald Trump has exactly 0 deals.
Trump recently promised that his administration would deliver 90 trade deals in 90 days. But by the time he sat down with Prime Minister Carney, roughly 3 weeks later, not a single deal had been signed. Not 10, not 2, none. One major news outlet reported that Trump claimed he was simply waiting for another country's parliament to approve a deal, but he never specified which country. Just a week later, officials from both the Commerce Department and the Treasury confirmed that no negotiations were happening at all. In short, Trump wasn't telling the truth. And once again, he said it out loud for everyone to hear.
A new tariff threat.
I really don't want cars from Canada. So when I put tariffs on Canada, they're paying 25%, but that could go up in terms of cost.
And while Trump was busy making promises he couldn't deliver, he was also opening up another front in his trade war. This time with Canada. He's now pushing to raise auto tariffs beyond the current 25%. His reasoning? He wants more cars built in America. But here's what he's not saying. U.S. car manufacturers rely heavily on supply chains across North America, especially for parts that come from Ontario and Quebec. When tariffs go up, production costs in the U.S. rise right along with them. According to the Center for Automotive Research, the price of an American-made vehicle could increase by up to $4,700. And who pays that extra cost? Not Canada. It's the American consumer. In response, Canada has fired back. They've imposed their own 25% tariffs on nearly $30 billion worth of American goods. That includes wheat, steel, and even canned orange juice. Yes, orange juice. Because in a trade war, nothing is off the table, not even breakfast. But Canada was just the beginning. Trump is now dragging China back into what looks like Trade War 2.0. The difference this time? He stopped claiming that China will pay the tariffs. Now, he admits Americans will. He even gave an example. He said if you used to buy 30 pencils, now you'll only get 5. So thanks to Trump's tax policies, Americans are paying more and getting less. Meanwhile, China is doing what it always does. They're rerouting exports through third countries and requesting exemptions on products like semiconductors and pharmaceuticals. While Trump talks tough, China plays it smart.
The Wall Street Journal. Land sales measures, foreign investment data, unemployment indicators have gone dark in recent years.
And Wall Street isn't buying Trump's version of winning. Key trade and manufacturing data from China have gone dark. Beijing has stopped publishing hundreds of indicators. Even soy sauce production. That's real. Some investors are now comparing China to North Korea. No data usually means bad news. But instead of offering a real plan, Trump keeps posturing like it's a reality show. He says, "I have the power, they'll come to the table." China isn't in a hurry. Without the pressure of elections or media cycles, their focus is measured in decades. They move slowly, deliberately, and with long-term strategy in mind. While Trump, by contrast, stays locked on the next tax quarter. And just like that, the president who tried to bluff a prime minister on live TV ended up nodding in silence. No deals, no leverage, just another awkward moment. A foreign policy built on fantasy. A tariff plan that backfires at home, and a leader still calling it winning. Have you ever heard a US president suggest that America should copy Europe's drug prices? Or that the federal government, yes, the same one Republicans always said should stay out of the way, should step in and cap prescription costs? Well, welcome to Trump Season 2. The second term, higher stakes, and yes, economic logic that feels like it came from a late-night infomercial. In the past few weeks alone, the man has floated a drug pricing plan that could wipe out $1 trillion in Big Pharma's global profits, compared America to a luxury boutique where only the highest bidders can shop, and told parents their kids don't need $30, just 3 will do. So what exactly is Trump doing here? Rewriting the rules? Waging war on the free market? Or just making it up as he goes? Well, here's the deal. He's rolling out something called Most Favored Nation pricing. Trump is pushing a plan called Most Favored Nation pricing. It would tie the cost of prescription drugs in the US, starting with Medicaid, to the average prices paid in countries like Canada, France, Japan, and Germany. On paper, sounds like a win for patients. In practice, the pharmaceutical industry is panicking. Why? Because analysts estimate this move could cost Big Pharma up to $1 trillion in global revenue. That's trillion, with a T. Medicaid alone spends about $51 billion a year on meds. If Trump's policy expands, as some lawmakers want, it could shake up the entire pricing structure across the US health system, including discount programs like 340B. PHRMA, the industry's biggest lobbying group, didn't hold back. Government-set prices are a threat to patient access and innovation. Even top Republicans like House Speaker Mike Johnson are fuming. But since it's Trump's idea, and Trump is the GOP these days, most are just smiling through gritted teeth. So, is this bold reform or economic vandalism in a lab coat? And this isn't the only time Trump's logic has taken a hard left turn. Take this gem. A little girl doesn't need $30. 3 is enough. That's how Trump justified imposing up to 100% tariffs on Chinese goods, including toys. Here's the problem. Over 80% of toys sold in America come from China or nearby Asian countries. When tariffs go up, it's not Beijing paying the price, it's the parents at Target. Even Barbie's boss agrees. Mattel's CEO says tariffs haven't brought jobs back to the US. They just make things more expensive. So congratulations. Higher prices, zero benefit. Then there's the whole luxury boutique theory. Trump recently said, America is like a fancy store. If you want to buy from us, you pay top dollar. Catchy, but completely backward. The US isn't a seller in the global economy. It's the world's biggest buyer. We import to fuel demand, create choice, and keep prices low. If you build walls, raise tariffs, and restrict trade, guess who pays? That's right, you do. Fewer goods, higher prices, and lost jobs. That's not winning. That's self-sabotage. MSNBC's Chris Hayes dubbed it reverse economics. Because in Trump's world, if you don't pay his price, you can leave the store. But the first ones walking out are American consumers. Wall Street is still hoping Trump is bluffing, that he'll talk tough and walk it back, but so far, no backtracking, no plan, no negotiation, just one tweet after another. Even the Treasury Secretary had to admit Trump invented parts of his China trade story. And while he blusters online, supply chains are collapsing, ports are scrambling, and American logistics firms are staring at empty containers and delayed contracts. If this keeps up, we're not heading for a recession because of war or a pandemic, but because one man thinks trade policy equals performance art. Now, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. We've seen bold moves, plenty of noise, and an economy on edge. But is Trump really leading us toward a new direction, or is he just throwing everything out the window? Trump isn't acting like the leader of a $26 trillion economy. He's acting like a moody shopkeeper who thinks he can close the store when the customers won't pay his price. Except in this store, the customers are the American people. And closing the doors means job losses, rising prices, and a slower economy for everyone. So what do you think? Is Trump actually shaking up a broken system? Or just breaking it further? Drop a comment below. Let us know where you stand. And hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more sharp takes on the stories that matter. See you next time.